Hey everyone, I'm going to just wrap up the notes from yesterday's class so that you can do today's assignment. The last part of it was talking about the factor theorem. And the factor theorem says this: if you have a polynomial and you have some f of c that equals 0, that means x minus c is a factor. Okay, and vice versa, if you know something's a factor, then you know that f of c is equal to 0. So basically, just like we were doing yesterday when we started talking about the long division, and we said, well, if you're given something like divide by x minus 5, right, then you would set that equal to 0, and you would get x equals 5. Okay, so in this case, we're talking about, and that's basically the idea that we're using here. Then we're saying 5 would be a 0 of the polynomial, or a root of the polynomial, as long as your remainder comes out to be 0. So that's the idea. In this case, it's saying here that 3 is a 0. It's saying to solve the equation given that 3 is a 0. When it says solve, it means we're trying to find the other x values. This is a cubic equation. It's a third-degree equation, so I should have 3 roots, or 3 zeros. One of my zeros is already given to me. It's 3. I need to find the other 2 zeros. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do synthetic division to help me find my other polynomial, or my reduced polynomial, so that I can find my other roots. So we'll just take it step by step. Because 3 is a 0, I can use my factor theorem, and I can do synthetic division. So I'm going to take out my coefficients here. I've got 2, -3, -11, and 6. Bring down the 2. 3 times 2 is 6. Add those, that gives me 3. 3 times 3 is 9. Add those, I get -2. 3 times -2 is -6. Add those, I get 0. Remember, this last number here is your remainder, which it should come out to be 0 because of the fact that 3 is a root. That means it goes into it evenly, meaning there's no remainder. Okay, so now I have my new polynomial. Remember, because I started with a cubic, these are now my new coefficients, and I decrease my degree by 1. So I now have 2x squared plus 3x minus 2 is equal to 0. And so now I have a quadratic function that I can now factor and figure out what my remaining 2 zeros are. Right? So I know the only way I can break this up is 2x and x, and now I just have to figure out what goes here. My only factors of 2 are going to be 2 and 1, so it's really just kind of trial and error figuring out what goes where. If I put -1 here and +2 here, I know those multiply to -2. And then let's test that we get +3 in the middle. If I multiply my outside terms, I get 4x. If I multiply my inside terms, I get -1x. So 4x minus 1x gives me that 3x, so I know that this is then factored correctly. So now I can set my factors equal to 0. Here I get x is 1/2, and here I get x is -2. So it says to solve the equation, meaning solve for x, which is what I just did here. So remember, when you're solving, if it gives you a 0, that means you can do synthetic division and you will automatically get a remainder of 0. Okay? Do your synthetic division to get a simpler polynomial that you can now factor and solve. Okay, that's it. That's the remainder of the lesson. That's the last part of the video that I wanted, or the last part of the notes that I wanted to go through for you. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.